It's windy today, windy. Okay, so maybe you're just getting into filmmaking or you're just making videos, maybe not necessarily considering yourself a filmmaker. Maybe you are a filmmaker, maybe you've got really good camera, really good lens, but you still haven't quite cracked the good audio for all of your shots, all of your clips, everything you want to do. I wanted to share with you my 5 best reasons you need an audio recorder. There might be 6 tips in here, so if you stick around, there might be 6. Can't guarantee it, but there might be. So, what I mean by that is something like this, the Zoom H4N, which I am currently recording into right now, or the Tascam DR40. I'll get into the differences on those two a little bit later. But right now, we're talking about just audio recorders in general, not necessarily anyone in particular. So right now, I've got the Wireless Go, the Rode Wireless Go, hooked right into the Zoom H4N, and that's where this audio is coming from. Hopefully it's, looks like it's recording, so we're good there. So whether you're just starting out, like I said, maybe you're shooting on your GoPro, you're just shooting on your phone, or whatever setup you've got, you can use this audio recorder with whatever camera you want. So unlike buying the audio adapter for, say, a GoPro, which is only good on that GoPro, maybe the generation before or after it, hopefully, the audio recorder is gonna last you through different camera cycles, whatever camera you want to use with it. So I think the biggest reason you're gonna want to get one of these, one, it's less expensive than buying a good camera. Good audio is gonna present much, much better, a lot faster than, say, a better camera will. Good audio is just kind of imperative for having good videos. So say you're shooting on this GoPro, obviously the GoPro audio is terrible. Here, let me turn it on. We'll give you a quick example here. This is the GoPro audio, straight from the GoPro, just, that's what you're gonna get. You can't really do much to it. And then this is the audio straight from the lav mic, which I have hidden under here. Big difference in the audio there. It may not be the most ideal setup, but if you're just getting started, it is a pretty cheap way to up your video game rather quickly. You can get into this for a couple $100, not much money at all. So if that's the route you're gonna go, the best tip I have for you is make sure you give yourself a little snap, so when you bring that into post-production, you can sync that pretty easily. Now, another great reason to use an audio recorder, say you need to shoot in like very, very small constricted spaces and you don't want to have a microphone or jacks pointing out of your camera, accessories, you want to go with the smallest camera possible. So what I have here, the audio recorder is in my back pocket, and if I could walk straight, I just have the GoPro, this little tight squeeze right here, and I've got good audio. Hopefully it's not reflecting too much off of this rock. I've got good audio, I've got good video, and that's a nice little portable setup. Now, this also works if you want to put the audio recorder, say, in a backpack and just hit record and go for the day. I did that on a video about a year ago where I was comparing a couple of GoPros. I didn't want to bring the big camera to get good audio, so what I did is just had this setup, the Wireless Go with the lav mic. I had the receiver and the H4N in my backpack just recording. I just hit record and I left the house. So what I did was all the little clips on the GoPros, I just took them in sequential order and dropped them onto the audio timeline. When I saw myself talking, made sure that lined up, just auto sync that. It's pretty simple to do. A little bit of work, a little bit of back end work to get that all synced up, but it worked out pretty well. So that's also a really good way to use this audio recorder. Now, my third reason, and one of my favorite reasons to have this audio recorder in my camera bag at all times, is simply to grab some sound effects shots. Now, one thing I recommend for that, since you're just using these open microphones on the top, is a little hat called a dead cat, dead kitten. Not literally a cat, but that's just what they call it. Now, this is one of the big reasons I prefer the H4N, because this thing actually like latches around the top. I'm gonna have to go get that. But it actually latches around the top, which may or may not be shown on this recorder in this B-roll shot, but most definitely should have been on it on this B-roll clip that I shot almost a year ago when I started this video. Yeah, I've been working on this one for a long time. I don't know why this is taking me so long. But the H4N, big plus for it because it holds that once you get it on there and I don't drop it down there. Okay, I'm gonna go get that. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna really put it on this time. The wind's kicking up, so. Oh, come on. I'm having trouble with it now. Okay, got it on one side. Get it around. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this right now. Okay, see, on there. Got a nice little hat. Okay, so I lost my train of thought just a little bit when I dropped this. The reason this helps a lot is it actually just helps to muffle the wind. So if you got a stiff breeze coming across, you know that sound of a microphone with a stiff breeze coming across. This just helps to muffle that noise. And it does actually a really good job of it. If there's a pretty stiff breeze, you probably won't even hear it with this on. So unless it's like incredibly windy, this is all you need. Good shot. Now, the fourth reason I love having this audio recorder around is to record backup audio. Say you're doing an interview or an event, or you're just filming something where you're getting one take. You want to make sure you have good audio, so you set up multiple microphones, but if that's all recording to one spot, there's a little bit of a risk there. So record multiple audio, multiple microphones into multiple sources. You can record even at multiple different levels. That way, if one gets a little bit too loud, you still have a backup audio. That's a really great tip. That's a great tip right there. So what I have going on here is, let me show you. I've got my trusty iPhone up. So right above here, I've got my shotgun microphone, and that's wired up through my C-stand. I don't really have a good boom arm. It's actually being used on that light in the back. But from there, I've got my H4N wired in straight XLR to that shotgun microphone, completely independent from my camera over here. So that way I have a second backup audio source just in case anything happens to my main audio. I've got a backup, and that's always a good thing, right? A backup. Backup your files. Definitely. 2 hard drives, 3 hard drives, 2 spaces, backup everything. And then for my 5th tip, on the flip side of that, you can actually record your main audio into your audio recording device, record your backup audio straight into camera. This is particularly useful if you have 2 interview subjects and you want to split the audio on both of those subjects. You can record both of those microphones into the H4N or the DR40, and then in post-production, split those audio tracks just in case you have to adjust the audio independently from each other, which I have had in the past. Say you've got one really loud speaker and one really quiet speaker, and you didn't get your audio levels set exactly right, because people tend to talk at different levels when they're actually on camera, when you're actually recording versus when you're just setting up their tests and getting them to tell you what they had for breakfast or whatever. So that's a really good reason to use an audio recorder to split audio tracks to adjust them independently. So I know earlier I said I was going to get into the differences of these two. I am a little bit, but there are many other videos out there that get into fine detail with the difference in these 2 recorders. So I'm just gonna run through a few things that matter to me and made me pick one over the other. Some of the things that may matter a little bit to you are startup time. So on the DR40, we've got 3 seconds. On the H4N, we've got 26 seconds. That's a pretty big difference right there. Other things that may matter to you, formatting time, surprisingly long on both of these. H4N, average about 1:04. DR40, average about 51 seconds. The DR4 takes 3 batteries, the H4N takes 2 batteries. I personally prefer to use 2 batteries because 3 is just an odd number, and give me 2 batteries or give me 4 batteries. Buy a pack of 4 and you use 3, like come on, really? 2 batteries. That's my preference on that one. Something else that makes a big difference here. The H4N can only take up to a 32 gigabyte memory card, as to where the DR40, I've stuck a 128 gigabyte in there, no problem at all. It may go even higher than that, I'm not sure. that's the biggest card I have. One big advantage I find to the H4N is it does have an 1/8" input in the back, as to where the DR40 needs an XLR to 1/8" adapter. Now the SD card slot on the H4N is real easy to access, opens easy, no problem. On the DR40, sometimes if you don't have nails, it's really hard to open. You're gonna have to grab a little screwdriver or something to open it up. So my preference between these two, I know this one, like on paper, it's the better recorder, even like sounds a little bit, but you know, let's just take a listen to this test.
Now this has the external mic volume set to 30, and this is my best radio voiceover voice on the Tascam DR40. And of course the dogs bark. Really? Really? You guys gotta bark right now? Right now? The dogs are barking outside and they just will not quit. Every time I want to record a good audio quality audio voiceover, the dogs like to bark at whoever's walking by our house. And then we'll set the input level to 30 on this as well. This is my best radio voiceover voice on the Zoom H4N Pro. No dogs barking this time, so.
So on paper, like I said, on paper, this one is the better recorder, but I still prefer the H4N. Why? Well, for one, the feel of it. This feels like a professional piece of equipment. This feels like a toy you bought at Toys R Us. Is Toys R Us still even around? I don't think so. That's a shame. It was a fun store. Anyway, this one just feels a lot better. I like the button layout on it. It's easier to use. It does take a little bit longer, but it's not one of those items I need for speed. When I'm using it, it's intentional. I know I'm gonna use it. I have it out. I don't need to like pull this out of my bag and have it recording in 2 seconds, which you can do with this, but I still prefer this one. There's just a lot of little reasons that I prefer the H4N. It's just, overall, I think it's a better, easier to use recorder. But it doesn't matter either way. Either one of these, you're gonna get fantastic results. They're about the same price. They work about the same. The buttons, the menus are just a little bit different. So it doesn't really matter which one you get. They're both gonna get you really good results. All right, so I did promise you if you stuck around, you'd get a 6th tip. So let's head back outside. Just because you stuck around this long, you get one extra tip on how to use an audio recorder better. So say for whatever reason, I want to go do a shot over on that rock way over there, but I still want the camera to be here. Maybe I want to bring those mountains like really into the background, like make it look really mountainous. So I want to go way over here. So there's no way you could put a shotgun mic on top of the camera and get my voice clear from way over there. I mean, let me just show you how absolutely far away this is. You can't even really see the camera. It's way up there. You barely see it, right up there. So I'm a little ways away right now. Today I wanted to talk about these mountains in the background, talk about how amazing they are. And there's so much gold in these, there's gold in them there hills, you know? My setup is actually pretty simple here. I'm still running off the same lav mic, the Wireless Go, Rode Wireless Go. I just have it plugged into the back of the H4N. Receivers right here. So I'm recording audio on the H4N, video on the camera. Now it's time to get back and sync it and end this video. So I tell you what guys, if you like this video, found it useful, helpful, informative, anything like that, do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button down there, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. I almost forgot, one of my favorite reasons to use the H4N is when you turn it off, gives you a nice little message. Goodbye, see you! I don't know why I get such a kick out of that, but I like it.